The exhaustion that has no name. You sleep enough, you eat reasonably well, you function, and yet you are tired. Not the kind of tired rest fixes, the kind that settles into your bones. Carl Jung believed that fatigue without physical cause often signals a psychological conflict, energy drained by inner resistance. You smile, you respond, you perform, but inside, something feels heavy. This exhaustion has no medical label, but it has meaning. Emotional labor you don't recognize. Much of your energy is spent managing yourself, filtering thoughts, softening reactions, suppressing impulses. You are constantly adjusting to be acceptable, appropriate, safe. Jung called this over-identification with the persona. You are not tired from doing too much. You are tired from being divided. The cost of living against your nature. Every person has a natural rhythm, but when you ignore it, exhaustion follows. You say yes when you mean no. You stay when you should leave. You silence discomfort to keep stability. Jung believed ignoring the self results in neurosis, not madness, but chronic depletion. Your body protests when your voice doesn't. Why rest alone doesn't work. Rest restores the body, not the divided psyche. You can sleep deeply and still wake heavy. Because the problem isn't lack of rest, it's lack of alignment. True rest begins when you stop resisting yourself. The role of unlived life. Jung warned of the tragedy of unlived life. Dreams postponed, truths suppressed, instincts ignored. That unused potential does not disappear, it weighs. Exhaustion often comes from carrying a life you are not living. The exhaustion that has no name. You tell yourself you're fine. You wake up. You move through the day. You answer messages. You complete tasks. From the outside, your life looks functional, even stable. But inside, there is a tiredness that doesn't come from effort, a heaviness that sleep doesn't touch, a dull pressure that follows you quietly. Carl Jung believed that when exhaustion cannot be explained physically, it often originates in the psyche, from an inner life that is being ignored or suppressed. This is not the tiredness of work. It is the tiredness of existing against yourself. You feel it most in quiet moments, when nothing is demanding your attention and yet you feel drained. That tiredness is not random. It is not weakness. It is a signal. The invisible energy drain of emotional control. Much of your energy is spent not on doing, but on managing. Managing reactions, managing tone, managing expectations. You hold back words you want to say. You adjust emotions before they surface. You calculate how much of yourself is acceptable. Carl Jung described this as over-identification with the persona, the mask we wear to survive socially. The problem is not the mask. The problem is never taking it off. You are tired because you are always on, always monitoring, always editing. This constant self-control slowly drains vitality, not dramatically, but steadily. And over time, you forget what it feels like to be unguarded. Living against your inner rhythm. Every human being has a natural rhythm, a way of thinking, a pace of living, a level of stimulation they can sustain. When you ignore that rhythm, exhaustion follows. You push when you should pause. You stay when you should step back. You force enthusiasm when your body asks for rest. Jung believed the self expresses itself through discomfort when it is ignored. Your fatigue may not be laziness, it may be disobedience to your own nature. And the longer you override it, the louder the body protests. Why rest alone never feels enough. You try to rest, you sleep more, you take breaks, you distract yourself, but the tiredness returns. Because rest heals the body, not the divided mind. If your life requires constant suppression, rest becomes temporary relief, not restoration. True rest begins when you stop resisting who you are. Until then, sleep is only a pause, not recovery. The weight of an unlived life. Jung warned about the psychological cost of unlived potential. The dreams you postponed, the truths you avoided, the instincts you silenced. That unused life does not disappear. It accumulates, and it becomes weight. You feel tired not because you are doing too much, but because you are carrying a life you are not living. Exhaustion is often grief in disguise. Grief for the self you never allowed to exist. When fatigue becomes a message. Your tiredness is not a malfunction. It is communication. A message saying, this way of living costs too much. Jung believed symptoms are meaningful, not enemies. Your fatigue is asking for attention, not punishment. Listening does not require instant change. It requires honesty. And honesty is where healing begins. How energy returns when you stop resisting. Energy returns quietly. When you stop forcing yourself. When you say no without guilt. When you allow discomfort to speak. Jung called this integration, when inner conflict dissolves. You don't become hyper-energized, you become steady. And that steadiness is sustainable. A different definition of strength. Strength is not pushing endlessly. Strength is alignment. It is choosing truth over endurance. Self-respect over survival. When your life reflects who you are, energy stops leaking, and tiredness finally loses its grip.